remapping my BMW 430D, stage 1 remapping it, and I'm going to a place called Celtic Tuning in Newquay. So I woke up one day and I was like, I want my car to be a little bit quicker. So obviously the kind of easiest way to do that without spending a whole bunch of money is getting it remapped. So I did a bit of research, and there's a place about half an hour down the road called Celtic Tuning that do a stage 1 remap on this particular car, and they also dyno the car. So yeah, I booked my car in about 15 minutes. I've got no idea why on my day off I decided to book my car in at 9 o'clock in the morning. So hopefully this video is going to be slightly useful to anyone that's looking to remap their car, because I'm going to take you along with me and show you how it's done. And we're also going to test drive the car afterwards to see if there is actually any noticeable difference. So stock, this car should produce about 255 brake horsepower, and the quoted stage 1 remap that they're going to be doing should push that figure from 255 brake horsepower up to 310 brake horsepower. So I believe that's around about a 55 horsepower increase, which should be noticeable. So here we have it. Here's the Celtic Tuning dyno printout. So here's the dyno printout. As you can see, stock, this car was actually producing more than the quoted figure. So I believe this car's quoted to produce about 256 brake horsepower. This was actually producing 266 brake horsepower stock, and it was also producing 430 pound-foot of torque. After the stage 1 remap, this has gone up to 313 brake horsepower and just under 500 pound-foot of torque. So it's a significant increase. So that's about a 50 horsepower increase, and that's actually, I know it may not sound like a massive amount, but my first car only had 70 horsepower, so it's almost as much horsepower as my first car added onto this car. And as you can see, because it's a diesel, it actually produces a lot of torque very early on in the rev range, so it only has to get to about 3000 RPM before the peak torque. And as you can see, the torque climbs for a lot longer than before, so the kind of so this dotted red line is after, that's before their torque figures, and then there's the red is the after horsepower figures, and that's before horsepower figures. So as you can see, the torque just climbs for a bit longer down the rev range, so it does feel like this car carries on pulling for a lot longer than before. So we're going to go and take this car for a test drive. Alright, so I've just set the camera up, and we're going to launch this car on camera just to see how fast it actually looks on camera. Someone's trying to get past. There was absolutely tons of room. They're going really slowly. I'll put the windows down a bit. Alright, so we're going to pop it into Sports Plus, and then we're going to basically just floor it. It actually, especially on these wet roads, it just doesn't get traction properly, so it's not as fast as it would be on a dry road. That is one of the issues with it being a rear wheel drive. Set the camera up in a different angle, and we're going to try and launch it again. I was just going to have a quick chat about the negative sides of kind of remapping. From the research I've been doing, you've got to kind of make sure that your car is up to the remap, if that makes sense. That means that every component between the engine and kind of the wheels are able to handle the extra torque and horsepower. So it'd probably be worth having a look at your car and seeing kind of how much you're able to remap it. Usually if you go to a decent remapper, they'll know kind of how much you can remap your car, and usually if they give you a generic remap, it'll be mapped to within the kind of tolerances of your car. But at the end of the day, it does make my car more fun, and all the components on this car particularly are able to handle much more horsepower than this car is stock. For example, the ZF gearbox, which is the automatic transmission that this car has, is rated to up to 1000 Newton meters of torque, and this car at the moment is only producing 660, so it's absolutely fine. And these N57 engines are pretty decent. I've seen them being remapped way higher than I've remapped it, so I'm not too worried about that. that concludes the quick video on me remapping my car. So if you've got any questions about remapping, I'll do my best to answer them in the comment section below. Hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. And I will see everyone in my next video.